a lot of people only take it out of context. It doesn't. If you read that, if you do check the concordance, Ebube, and you check the concordance on that rod and spoil the child, which is part of what we're going to be talking about on Thursday, you would find that a lot of people are taking it out of context. That's not what that rod meant. But I don't want to discuss it here because I'm going to be duplicating that discussion on Thursday, and I'm going to burst that, and you'll find that a lot of people just pick that scripture out of context and not use it properly, and just believe that we must use a rod on our children, which is totally wrong. Hey Taiwo, thanks for joining as well. So we shouldn't use that rod on our children. I will shed some light on that scripture that a lot of people quote and believe that they should abuse their children as a result. And a lot of people misconstrue beating and smacking. Beating and smacking are two separate things. Smacking your child is smacking them on the soft part of your, maybe like bottom, and doing this. You're not even hitting them with the pillow is a smack. That's not what a lot of people do. What a lot of people tend to do is beat their children, leave marks on their children, pick up things and beat their children. They call it smacking. That's not smacking. Even as an adult, when someone yells at you, how do you feel? Because it's at this tender age that we begin to destroy our children. We love them so much, but then we exactly. Tinuka Masha says it's a rod of correction, not necessarily a rod of beating. Do you understand? Where was I? I lost my trail of thought. Where was I? I'll get back to it anyway. But yes, it says, Ebube, I hope you are part of the group. If you're not part of the parent right group, please join the group, and you would understand that at 8 to 10 o'clock on Thursday, Remy Makanjola and I will be sharing and we'll be busting that topic of smacking children and shouting at children. What we're doing is we're saying we love them, but through our actions, we're not showing love. Our actions speak louder than words. You can tell your children every blessed day that you love them, but you shout at them and you beat them. That is contrary. That is opposite of what it is that you intend to do. Princess Chidima says, so I want to believe it's okay to smack, not to beat, right? Even the smacking, as long as there are alternatives, Chidima, as long as there are alternatives, try not to do it, because what you do is you build a bridge between your children. And when it comes to emotional issues, when it comes to things that they can confide in you about, they are afraid. You know, the issues of where was it the last time something happened, and there was a child that the mom did something. I can't remember how it went anyway, but somebody raised their hand anyway, and the child was like that, really scared, because that child has been used to somebody hitting the child. So when the person wanted to maybe hug or do something to the child was already scared, because you've already created that barrier, making the child believe that anytime you raise your hand, it's not for love. You know, the people who say, what if normal love, I don't believe in it. There's so many things that we say and we quote, and they're not necessarily the right things to do. You show your child love, you put your child in love. Even if you smack your child, it's so minimal that you can't even remember. Even you cannot remember it. That's how minimalist it should be. There are other tools, other strategies, which I'll be sharing with Remina Kojola on Thursday. Adenika Lekon Lawal says, parenting is very key. See you on Thursday by God's grace. Yes, I will put a poster out, and I will appreciate if people can share it. We need to stop smacking and beating our children. If you had, like I said, if you had Obama's children as babies, if you had Donald Trump's children as baby, or the Prince of Saudi Arabia, if you have their children, and they keep those children with you and say, look after those children for me. If the camera is even on you with your own children, the world is watching you, would you smack? The teachers are in the classroom with 20-30 children, and they're not killing themselves smacking your children. If they smack your children, you will say they're smacking your children, but you are in the home being a hypocrite, smacking your children, and say they should not smack your children in the class. If the teacher is out of control like you, and believe that you can't do anything but smack your children, then how do we begin to educate those children? If you're smacking your children in the house, you have no right to say that my children and nobody should smack them. Don't smack them, because they're not your children, they're God's children, they're God's custodians. So please stop smacking these children and smacking them and saying that my parents smacked me and turned out all right. You didn't turn out all right, because you're doing stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. You did not turn out all right, okay? So we need to stop smacking these children. Princess Chitima says, very true. Thanks for the clarification. I can't wait for Thursday. Yes, please join us on Thursday. Please share the video, and when I put the posters out, please share it. It's a very critical topic. If you see the thread on my group, it's unbelievable. Even on Instagram, people are dragging this topic as well. We don't need to smack our children to get through to them. We're fed up, we're frustrated, we're broke, and then we take it out on them. And that's what happens. If people come, your husband comes or your wife comes and beats you every time because they're fed up, or because you're not getting through to, you're not doing what they're doing. Even in the job, when you start a new job, for example, there's some things you don't get right. There's some skills that you need brushing up on. What if your boss smacks you on the head every time because you don't get it? It doesn't make any sense. So don't dish out what you can't take. There are alternatives, please. Mr. Akiola says, when we are limited in options, abuse is the easiest way out in the name of discipline. Exactly. And discipline and punishment are two separate things. When you discipline your child, you are correcting your child. Correcting your child is not punishment. Punishment is when you start hitting them and putting them in the sun and doing something that is so extreme to your children. Disciplining your child is sitting down and correcting them and telling them what they've done wrong and how they can do better. That is disciplining your child. Disciplining your child is taking away things from them. It might make them upset, make them sad. Discipline is telling them to go and stay in their room, telling them there are no holidays, telling them to go and clean, telling them to go and sweep, telling them to do stuff. Discipline is not beating your children. That is corporal punishment. And in some countries, they will take your child away from you. We should stop behaving like animals and believing that we must smack our children. Somebody even said, my children are boys, so I must smack them. You will lose your children. It's your own risk. You will lose your children if you continue to smack them. Stop smacking your children. Even some of you, your parents have lost you. You just humor them by virtue of society. Your parents have lost you because they smacked you so much. You say you sound all right. Well, you can't even give a damn. Your parents might be broke. Your parents might be suffering from something, but they have totally lost you because they smacked you so much. Smacked? They beat you blue black to the point where you don't respect them because they're your parents, but you don't even really want to have anything to do with them. In fact, you're waiting for their dying day. So stop saying you turned out all right. There are a lot of internal issues. So Pretty Obi says, can you give a child punishment instead of beating them? Don't punish your children. Are they animals? Why are you punishing even animals? If it's some animal rights activists, if you punish some, if you hit animals, they will come for you. Hey Kayode, thanks for joining. If you hit animals, they will come for you. Animal rights activists, not to talk of human beings. And then we'll be beating them. You'll see marks on their body. We'll pinch them. We'll do all sorts of things to them. And we'll call them our children. And say, Mommy loves you, Mommy, we're just doing it because they don't want you to do that again. Mommy, that's why Mommy speaks. That's what happens in abuse. When the man smacks, beats the wife up and says, oh, I'm so sorry, darling. Oh, I didn't mean to smack you, but I didn't mean to hit you. I was just stressed from work, blah, blah, blah. They'll go into the room. They'll make love. They'll come back again. The next day, he will smack again. That is, and the woman will never love that man, will never trust that man, will believe that you will always smack me. You will believe that you will hit me, you will do something to me. This is how our children feel. I saw some comments. I missed one. Can you give a child punishment? Okay, I've addressed that. Hey Buki, how are you? Everybody, wait. So discipline is just talking. Discipline is not just talking alone. If you tell a child to go and sleep, to go and sweep maybe the garden and go and put maybe let's look for discipline. Something that you know your child likes, you take it away from them. Okay, say for example, maybe on Sunday you always give them a treat, maybe you take them to the cinema or a restaurant. There's something that you always do. You can take that thing away from that child. That is disciplining the child. You can tell that child, you're not playing on this computer game for the next 1 month. That is disciplining the child. You can tell the child, go to your room and go and stay there for the next 1 hour. Go and think about what it is you've done. Go and write to mommy or daddy and tell me what you can do better. That is discipline. There are other ways that you can discipline your child. So it's not just talking alone, Ebube. There are other things that you can do that is disciplining your child. Do you understand? You can discipline your child in several ways without hitting your child. When you hit that child may smile at you and say, okay, yeah, whatever. But that child is a bridge, there's a barrier. The same way that we have an emotional bank account, a bank account where we do nice things for our children, we keep putting something in the kitty, we keep putting something in the pot. When we do something to our children, let's say this tissue box is a bank account. Anytime we do something right for our children, we put something in the pot. We put something in the pot. You put something in the pot. When you also do hit them, you take out from the pot, you take out from the pot, you take out from the pot, and ultimately that pot becomes empty. That love becomes empty, and you now go and put it in a big pot of, emotional baggage, where your child begins to struggle. Sometimes your child is struggling in the classroom. It's not because that child is not brilliant. It's because you're smacking the child and shouting at the child too much. The child will think the teacher is going to do the same thing. They're not stable emotionally. You've messed up your child. And then you say that you're not smart, you're not able to do this, you're not able to do that. It's your fault as a parent. We can't do the things our parents did. They didn't know. That's why they did it the way they did it. We know better now. So we can't continue making that same mistake. Let me take some comments. I'll soon round up. It's supposed to be a brief one, just to tell you that on Thursday we'll be having a Facebook Live video. So Chinika Masha says, Ajebube, depriving them for a limited time what they love doing. Yes, video game, football. Yes, awesome. Chinika, thanks for sharing, ma'am. Auntie Rika says, go and stand down. Ijoko Idera, raise your hands up, etc. Is that punishment or discipline of key? I don't know what Ijoko Idera is. Go and I'm not sure. Raise your hands up. You can tell them raise their hands up. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't like you don't want to tell them to go and raise their hands up in the hot sun. So we need to know that they're human beings. And then when you do something like that, you have to think, what value does it add? Is it going to help the situation? Raising the hand. Okay, I'm raising my hand now. It's punishment. Is it going to... What is it going to do? So let's think of the punishment, the discipline constructively, something that we know that it will get to the child. Because the child will not raise my hand, raise my hand. What is he doing for the child? Mercy Grace says, is asking a child to kneel down for 20 minutes after someone talking about a discipline. No, I don't think telling them to kneel down is as long as it's not in the hot sun, because some people will do it in extreme. They're going to tell them to go and kneel down on gravel in the hot sun and not give them water, and then they pass out. So let's not make it extreme. So kneel down if you know that the child doesn't like the kneeling down. Some children can kneel down, Mercy Grace, and it's fun. Do you know that? Some children can be put in a naughty corner and they enjoy it. They will create fun there. So it should be a case by case basis. If you know your child will totally hate that kneeling down, and you know it will answer that objective, yeah, fine, go ahead with it. If someone wants to kneel down, it'll your time. She will kneel down and get up. It doesn't change anything. That's why I'm saying it. So it's case by case basis. Mr. Kela says, these people that claim they turn out well forgot that there's a difference between what they turn out to be and where they will have been, where they raise properly. Awesome. And you should join us on Thursday, Mr. Kela, so that you can also share in some of these things. This is more grace. Please keep it up. Thank you, sir. Mr. Nika says, and sometimes giving rewards when they do well. Yes. So we balance it. When they do well, we praise them. Not all the time, because they should do well without rewards anyway. So we should balance anything that we do with the children. We should that means, thanks for joining. So this is the poster that we're going to do for our show on Thursday. Awele, thanks for joining. Mary indeed says, oh my God, I hope stopping now isn't late, because I beat up my kids when they do wrong. How old are your kids? It's never too late to stop doing something that is bad. And if they're old, you apologize to them. And if you're struggling with it, please send me a DM. I'm happy to help people. And Teresa says, touch down with one hand and put the other hand on your back while you're looking down. That's what I'm saying, Auntie. If you think it will add value, you can tell them to do it, and it can be fun for them. If you think it's going to be an answer, it's going to actually address the problem, fine. But if it's not, you just do it, they don't even understand why you're doing it. So when you discipline a child, they should understand the reason why. I don't want you to do that again. Go and think about what you did. So if you tell them to stand down, look at the ground, is it going to help them? Whatever we do to our children, we don't want to demean them and demoralize them and make them feel as if they're substandard human beings. That is essentially one of the things that we don't want to do. And that happens a lot when we punish our children. Bookie said, so what do I do when I talk to my daughter to do things and she refuses? What do I do? So number one, you have to start figuring out the reason why she's refusing to do, because I think your daughter is young. You have to start figuring out why you think she's doing she's being rebellious. Children, they model things. They do what they are being told. They model what they see. So when your child is not doing, you need to figure out why is your child not doing it. Are they enjoying themselves in an activity so much that you're not trying to go and do something? Or come and wash the dishes when they're in the middle of one nice, lovely movie or enjoying themselves so much. Their concentration may not be there. Put yourself in their own situation. If you're in your child's situation, you're having so much fun. Somebody says that's why teachers should go on breaks with children in schools, so that they will see how much fun the children are having. So when the bell goes and they go and teach maths, they realize that it's two extremes. So what situation are you taking your child out from? Say, go and do this, and the child is refusing to do it. And then depending on the age, you need to speak to the child and tell the child, this will be taken away from you. If you keep doing this, you tell them the consequences. Any negative action should have a consequence, and you will follow through with it. So it's a case-by-case basis as well. Most of these things are a case-by-case basis. Hey, Yola, thanks for joining. Hey, Mercy Grace again. Yes, I agree. It's a case-by-case basis. My friend's son talking and taking his things doesn't work. He hates kneeling down and raising his hand. So yeah, if he hates it, that's his own form of discipline. You give him, if that is the language that he has chosen to understand. So I hope that this few minutes that I've spent with you has been useful. And please do join us on Thursday between 8 and 10 p.m. where Remy and I will be discussing the issue of shouting and the issue of smacking. I don't want to go into too much detail, otherwise there'll be no point having it on Thursday. But this is to let you know, and please share the video. The posters will soon come out. Please share those as well. Abidemi says, my daughter hates being left alone and exempted from cuddles. She's 5. When she doesn't listen or misbehave, I ask her to go to her room or sit in the naughty corner. That will work because you already know she doesn't like it. That would definitely work. She doesn't like it. So that is discipline, not punishment. Poshe says, when I tell my child she won't participate in the school end of year activities such as Carol and Co, makes my child feel bad or stop her from watching her TV. Exactly. Those are disciplinary measures, not this shouting and smacking and shouting and smacking. When you shout and smack, how do you feel when you've done it? If you're really honest, a lot of us, we feel rotten after doing it. It doesn't make us feel good at all. It doesn't make us feel good at all. So why are we doing it? Abidemi says, my 11-year-old son is the headache now. No, he's not a headache, because if you start describing him as a headache, that's what you're going to get, headaches. I don't know how to deal with his teen moods. Maybe we should talk in private, because I'm going to have to round this one up. But you know that we all know that teenagers, they start to display a lot of things. But coming down to their own level, being their mates, understanding what it is their problems are, letting them talk to you. Because puberty and everything, things are going on in his body and all sorts of things. If you get that involved, let them start knowing that, I understand what you're going through. This is what you're going through. Maybe it's puberty, maybe it's something in the classroom. Communication is very key at this preteen years. Communication is absolutely key. So if you're not communicating properly with the children, you might not get the right responses that you want. Everybody says thanks though. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for joining. But I'm just leaving now. So we will continue on Thursday, 8 p.m. on Thursday, between 8 and 10 p.m. and that's Nigerian time. I think the UK are still ahead of us if I'm right. So that will be 9 to 11 on Thursday, where we'll be busting that issue of smacking, shouting at children. We don't need to smack them. We don't need to shout at them. Okay? If anybody has any challenges, join us on Thursday. If we're not able to answer all your questions on Thursday, then we'll do private sessions with people that still need further help. But we're here to help, and I wish you all the best with your parenting journey. Don't forget to join the group. It's Parent Right. Parent Right. One word. Parent and then Right. R-I-G-H-T. And then we'll be busting all these issues. And Tinoya says we need to also talk about parenting young adults, teens. Yes, we will do that, Tinoya. And if you have any topics in particular, please feel free to let me know. Ifama says, hello, Ifama, thanks for joining. Just rounding up. Otumba says, no, we are not. No, we are not one. Abiyam said, no, same time, Queen Posh. Oh, are we on the same time? Oh, awesome. We're on the same time. Okay, clock changing in October. I'm like that. Okay, springtime. Yeah. Okay, that's true. Meshuggah says, no, we're on the same time. Oh, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. Kaede, how you doing? Thanks. Otumba says, same time as Nigeria now. Awesome. Thank you. Tanika says, thanks, Ronke. God bless you, my abundantly. See you on Thursday. UK is same time now. Awesome. Thank you, darling. And that's it. with the comments. And I thank you so much for you joining my live show. After so long, I've not been doing this. I went. I took a break. It's just been crazy busy over here, so I just took a break. Hey, Kemi, thanks for joining. I'm just leaving now, to be honest. I've been talking about shouting and smacking and alternatives to shouting and smacking, and telling people that on 8 to 10 p.m. on Thursday, we will be busting those issues, and people need to know that there are other alternatives to smacking children. Princess Chiniman says, thank you so much, RonkePosh, for this. I really appreciate this a lot. You are more than welcome, my darling, and I will see you on Thursdays. God bless you all. See you soon. Bye. And don't forget to share the video and the posters that will come out really soon.